Holy shit, this game is good. Back to back to back to back to back. Fun, engaging gunfights. It's so consistent. I've been seeing a lot of people online calling this game Tarkov Light. Tarkov, but bite-sized. Snack-sized Tarkov. Tarkov if it was an arcade cabinet. Fuck right off. This is not Tarkov bite-sized. This is Tarkov on fucking liposuction. This is Tarkov with all of the stupid, idiotic bullshit that made that game so fucking tedious and annoying, ripped right out of it, and all you're left with is just the pure fun. This game has such a fucking problem with just letting its players have fun, and it pisses me off to no end. I feel like a fucking battered bride, man. Much like an abusive relationship, I've finally escaped from Tarkov, and I see the light. I have more hours in Tarkov than any game I've ever played, and that's really saying something, because there's so many other good games out there. But god damn, man, if this isn't a toxic relationship. I feel like the love of my life has been abusing, neglecting, and abandoning me for years and years and years, and just as I'm sitting alone, drowning my sorrows in the bottom of a fucking bottle, a solid 8 or 9 walks up to me and picks me up and takes me home. And I don't even gotta buy her a fucking drink. Make no mistake, I am not sucking this game's dick, okay? This game has its problems just like every other game does. But in comparison to Escape from Tarkov, the absolute Goliath of a game that kickstarted the extract shooter genre, this game gets so many simple things right that Tarkov just gets wrong every single time. My favorite Australian YouTuber Stimpy summarized it better than I ever could.
Hi there and welcome to Escape from Tarkov, but instead of wanting to throw myself out a window, I'm actually having fun. Also known as Arena Breakout Infinite.
I fucking love that guy, dude. Now, a majority of the reason that people enjoy playing these hardcore tactical shooters is the gunplay. So for those of you that are interested in playing this game, you're probably thinking, is the gunplay good? I'm not going to yap in your ear too long about it, but I just wanted to go over some of my favorites. You know, AKs and SCARs and assault rifles like that, they're effective, yes, but let's be honest, they get boring really fucking quick. There's only so many times I could go back into a raid with an AK-74. But comrade, Kalashnikov has made perfect weapon for us to take into battle. No. Back of the breadline for you. Go suck off Brandon Herrera somewhere else. One of my personal favorites, the long-range MAC-10. This shit is disgusting to look at. It's so long. This thing would be ridiculously top-heavy. American as fuck. Chambered in the Lord's caliber, .45. This thing kicks like a mule, but it hits like a fucking semi-truck.
This is for the band that in the band. Green shots at Golden State. When Steph comes with the hand, fuck it. I'm gonna have to see you for the samples from Charles Barkley and MJ the way I gamble. Every verse is a statement.
Oh yes! Just diddled that man.
Line up the heads of MCs on my mantle. When I'm on the mic, the lit like a candle. Like when I spark the string, you can't handle. Listening to oldies, I can win it for the roots. Bricks, chops, and shit, blunt one will produce.
God damn, this gun is fun to use. All around the world, not a single country, military, or organization can agree on a cartridge to use. The Easterners say 7.62 by 5.4, while we say 7.62 by 5.1. The Easterners say 7.62 by 2.5, while we say, fuck you, we're fine with 45. If there's one thing that we can all put our arms down to agree upon universally, it is the goddamn gift to humanity that is the 12-gauge shotgun cartridge. Whether you're in backcountry Siberia or backcountry Alabama, you will find 12-gauge shotguns hung on the mantelpiece of farmers' homes worldwide, used by hunters, police, and military universally. And there will never be anything more satisfying in these games than taking a semi-automatic shotgun, slamming a drum mag in that bitch, loading it with 12-gauge buckshot, and turning people's thighs into fucking ground beef. God damn, that shit gets my dick hard. Oh, but ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget the simplistic and humble bolt action rifles, okay? And this is where we get into a personal favorite of mine.
Who's that Pokemon?
Tarkov and DayZ veterans will recognize this one by silhouette alone. In a world of jackhammers and impact drills, this is the finely tuned, handcrafted Japanese pole cut saw. This is the thing that you bring out of your toolbox when you want to wrap your hands around something that craftsmen have been using for hundreds of years. Something that hits like a truck and is as precise as a sewing needle. This is the motherfucker that has been catching bodies in worldwide theaters since 1891. The timeless, the king of kings, the unmistakable Mosin Nagant rifle. Drop one of these motherfuckers in my hands, put me in the battlefield, and let me cook.
This is Rock of Gibraltar rap, the Springfield M14, show you where the coffin's at. You motherfuckers don't belong in rap. Fuck with me, you got a better chance taking an abortion back. Y'all lack flavor, put some sauce on that. I went to the Great Wall, put my fist through and walked through that. Where this motherfucker's fortune at? I'ma levitate his body, make it spin like a laundromat. Motherfucker, I was born to rap. I've been making records wild long, never did a song that's whack. How many have accomplished that? I was wild as a young boy, shouldn't have put moms through that. Then he passed into Norman back. I ain't never put the guns down, cousin, so my palms is black. You a bitch, I ain't involved with that. I got a big trunk and that's where Vinny keep all of his corpses at.
We traded headshots. Oh my god.
Silverback gorilla walk through the minefield. We don't see eye to eye on how you define real. Y'all are wondering if I'm out of my mind still. I just need some liquor and pills and I'm chill. I run with Puerto Rocks, Morenos and vagabonds. And Paz will shoot this motherfucker up like Barry Bonds. I'm like a military doctor, Vinny carry arms. My shit is military proper, Vinny carry bombs. I kick in the door like B.I. did. And the automatic weapons look like T.I. crib. Vinny fat, you never see my ribs. I don't call it loading bullets, I refer to it as feed my kids. All I think about is slaughtering y'all. This little motherfucker named Charles Hamilton is harder than y'all. It's in the garbage with y'all. Listen to all of you MySpace rappers, I'm a father to y'all.
Oh, he lived. He lived that. No. Oh, fuck, bro.
I write in the rain, turn beautiful night into pain. I turn life into a frightening game. I don't have love in me, it's just ice in my veins. My fist hammer of Thor, I Tyson the game. This rap shit deep in my heart. Y'all was asleep from the start, but that just led to unbelievable art. And on top of that, the God is unbelievably smart. My bad fist turned trees into bark.
Suck my cock! Let's go! Lick my nuts, I'm better! I'm like that! I'm like that! Okay, I'm done. I'm good. Before I move on, I just wanted to say something really quick. The comments that you guys left on my snake video blew me away. Seriously, like you guys made me blush and kick my feet at my desk like a fucking boarding school girl. This shit was sweet as hell. I'm gonna keep doing my best with my editing and sharing my experiences with you guys. Currently working on a RimWorld video right now. I don't know how many of you guys play that game, but it is fantastic. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate all the nice things you guys had to say about me. All right, back to this. When these extract shooters come out, there's always a huge influx of players coming to play the game. And then a few weeks to a month later, inevitably there's a huge drop in that player base. Why is that? I would wager to say it's probably because there's a lot of people getting their asses kicked and they don't really know how to play the games like that. Lucky for you guys, good old Dave is here to teach you how to play this game, how to arena Breakout Infinite, okay? Extract shooters as a genre are basically looter shooters with extra steps. There's two main primary functions to these games. There's PvP and there's looting. I'm gonna teach you how to do both of those things effectively. Number one, how to kill people. For those of you that don't know me, nice to meet you. My name's Dave. I am 25 years old and I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
What the fuck are you doing on my catwalk, you scumbag?
Side note, for any of you younger people out there who may be interested in joining the military and maybe you have some concerns or questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys have in the comment section. I'm not a fucking recruiter, so I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, why do I bring this up? When I was in boot camp and combat training, our instructors would teach us certain things about the human body in order to further teach us other concepts, such as how your body armor protects your vitals, how to do combat casualty care, and also importantly, how to kill people properly. For example, the medulla oblongata is an organ in your brain that is completely responsible for motor function. On a paper target, this is called the T-box. It's an invisible cross-section between the eyes and the nose. It is the only place where you can shoot a human being in order to kill them instantly. If you shoot somebody in the heart per se, it can still take somewhere between 10 to 30 seconds for them to bleed to death. There is a somewhat similar concept that applies in these games. In order to understand how to kill someone in these games, you need to understand how the body works. Now, your character in this game has 7 different body parts. Both arms, both legs, your abdomen, your chest, and your head. There is only one way to die in this game. If either your head or your chest gets to 0 HP. Now, there's 2 different ways that you can do that. There's either direct damage to those locations, or there's residual damage from broken limbs. Number 1, direct damage. This one is pretty obvious. Now, the thing about it is that most people will have their chest and their head fully covered with armor, which means whatever ammunition you're using needs to be able to penetrate that person's armor. Now, this isn't always necessary. There's some vague exceptions to this. For example, if you hit somebody's armor and it doesn't penetrate, it still does a little bit of blunt damage, like this, for example. I broke every rib in that man's body. But typically, the only way you're going to kill somebody with direct damage to their chest is if you penetrate their armor. But let's talk about the helmet. Not all helmets are the same. Some of them cover every hitbox, while some of them don't. Most importantly, some of them don't cover the face hitbox. We're going to talk about that because that is a really easy way to get good headshot kills. Now, this raid right here is a great example that I can use. I had an MP5 with 9mm PST rounds. Now, these rounds are only class 2 penetrating. Most people's armor and helmets are going to be at least class 3, which means my ammo is not going to get through it. I was fighting this guy around this corner, and I wanted to peek him to get some information. As soon as I did peek, I noticed that he didn't have a face shield. You know what that means? I don't have to spray and pray anymore. I'm going to aim at his head, because if one of my rounds happens to connect with his face, then he's going to die. For the early game, this works fantastic. Now onto the flesh damage method. If any of your limbs get to 0 health, aside from your chest and your head obviously, that limb will lose its functionality. But you might be thinking, what happens when one of those blacked out limbs gets shot? It's already at 0 health, so is there no consequence to that? If one of your limbs is completely blacked out, but it takes additional damage, all of that damage is distributed to the rest of your limbs. You see what I'm getting at here? This is sometimes referred to as the leg meta because the entire lower half of your body is usually exposed. There's no body armor that covers your legs. If you get something like a shotgun with buckshot or an SMG with hollow point rounds that do a lot of flesh damage but not a lot of penetration, you can typically kill people really quick with that. The semi-auto or full auto shotguns work phenomenally well for this. So do high rate of fire SMGs like the Vector. If you're pretty broke and you're just starting out and you want to try this, I would recommend the MP5. It's a pretty decent high rate of fire SMG, and the recoil is very easy to control when you're hip firing it. 9mm dum-dum rounds are going to be your go-to for this. All right, so you know how to kill. Now let's talk about the tools of the trade. Pop quiz, okay? Professor Dave's coming back out to play. There are 2 firearms up on the board right now that you're looking at. Which one of these would you rather take into a raid? I'll give you a second to think about it. Okay, you got it? All right. Now, if you answered the firearm on the right, congratulations, you are dead. But if you answered the firearm on the left, congratulations, you are also dead. It was a trick question. The answer is we need more information. Why? Because we don't know what's in these magazines. Rule number 1, it does not matter the tool that you have your disgusting, sweaty dick beaters wrapped around. It only matters what's coming out at the end of it. I would gladly take this weapon loaded with this before I take this weapon loaded with this. Pop quiz number 2. Let's say you're doing pretty well for yourself. You have a little bit of cash to spend on some attachments. Which one of these weapons would you rather take into raid? For the sake of the question, let's assume that both of these have the same amount and type of ammunition in their magazines. Now, if you answered the firearm on the right, congratulations, you are dead. If you can only put one attachment on your weapon, bring a suppressor. The ability to PvE without giving away your location to other players is immensely valuable in this game. Here's an example.
I need some range here. He's on top of the tower.
Yeah, I got you.
Now, this is Jay. For those of you that have seen my previous videos, you might know Jay, my full-time bottom and professional bullet sponge.
I'm lurking and I'm stalking when you least expect it.
Everybody say hi, Jay. Now, I hope you didn't grow an attachment to Jay in the last 10 seconds because Jay is about to fucking die.
Is there an Easter egg if I shoot that bell? I'm dead.
Oh! Now, Jay just got sniped from the top of a hill about 200 meters away. And if we reverse this clip, we can actually figure out why Jay just got sniped.
Yeah, I got you.
Jay did not bring a suppressor for his gun in this raid. And because he didn't, those enemies were able to hear us. They got a lock on our location, and as soon as Jay's squishy little melon was exposed, it got popped like a cork.
I'm dead.
Bring a fucking suppressor. That extra $10,000 is well worth your life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we have talked endlessly about how to kill people, so let's move on, shall we? I'll keep this short and sweet for you guys. This is how to make money.
Word up.
Cash
Take
rules
you on a
everything
natural
around
joint.
me. Cream, get the
Here we-
money.
here we go.
Dollar
Check
bill,
this shit.
yo.
Yeah, I grew up.
If you guys can keep up properly, I promise you that I will teach you something about this game that you did not know, and I might just teach you a better way to make some money. First things first, there are only two things that you should keep in your inventory. Number one, things that will keep you alive. Things that will keep you alive include things like your medical supplies, your extra magazines, ammunition, grenades, food, and water. Those are all things that you want to keep in your inventory for obvious reasons. Number two, the only other thing that should be going in your inventory is expensive items. It is very tempting to take things that you want to use in future raids. Say, for example, I want to use 45 SMGs in a future raid, and I know I want to use them. And I find some stacks of 45 FMJ ammo in raid. It's tempting to take these and take them back to your stash, but this is a waste of space. 45 FMJ rounds are incredibly cheap, and that space is much better reserved for an item that's going to be of much more value than that. You know why? Because as soon as you get out of raid, you can sell that item and buy even more 45 FMJ rounds with it. It's tempting to do that, but don't do it. Next up, invest in space. Investing in both backpack and rig space is one of the best returns on investment you can get in this game. There is absolutely zero reason that you should be buying these tiny ass backpacks, and I can prove it to you mathematically. Let's compare, say for example, the medium camping backpack to the AMP assault backpack. Now the medium camping backpack is very cheap, and that's very enticing. You can buy it from the trader for about 2,000 coin, and the AMP assault backpack you have to buy on the market for around 85,000 coin. Ooh, that's an intimidating price tag, but not if you know what you're doing. If you can guarantee that you can make it out of a single raid with an average cost per slot of around 8,000, that backpack will not only pay for itself, but make you so much more money. The equation for that is the amount of slots the backpack gives you times cost per slot minus the cost of the backpack itself. For the AMP Assault backpack, that would be 32 times 8,000 minus 85,000, which gives you a total of 171,000 coin made. For the medium camping backpack, that is 16 times 8,000 minus 2,000, which gives you 126,000 coin made. The AMP backpack is worth its weight in gold, and it pays for itself in a single raid. Invest in backpack space. Next up, rigs and backpacks will sometimes give you more space inside of them than they will actually take up in an inventory. For example, the 926 rig and the wrap rig. The 926 rig takes up 6 inventory slots, but inside of it has 8. The wrap rig takes up 9 inventory slots, but inside of it has 14. This is free space. These aren't the only examples, there's a ton of these. If you ever see these on players or on scavs, it's worthwhile to take them, just so you can stack a little bit more loot. A quick keybind that you should know for them, left clicking on these inventories once opens them up, and pressing escape closes them out. Congratulations, you've killed a player. What should you loot off of him? First of all, if you have any empty slots, it's worthwhile to throw some of his weapons into your empty weapon slots. Obviously, the more expensive you can make that slot, the better, but a free slot is a free slot. If you don't have any free slots, weapons are typically not worth taking. Now, there are some exceptions to this. There are some SMGs and pistols that are small enough that where you can fold them up and put them in your backpack, but apart from that, larger weapons like assault rifles, incredibly long SMGs, and sniper rifles will typically not be worthwhile to take. Most of the value from these weapons comes from the attachments on them. Strip those weapons of their muzzle devices, their sights, their foregrips, their lasers, flashlights, and any expensive magazines. Any inexpensive magazines, make sure you strip them so you're not missing out on valuable ammunition that may be inside. Always look out for the helmets. The helmets are pretty good money makers. Even the cheapest class 4 helmets will typically give you around 10,000 cost per slot, even more so if they're higher tier helmets, and even more so if they have a face mask on them. Backpacks and rigs can both be folded up in RAID. The keybind for that is to left click and drag the backpack or rig and then press F while you are holding it. Typically, the rigs will fold up to either 1x3 slots or 2x2 slots. If they fold up to a 2x2 slot and they're worth anything more than 40,000, they're typically worth taking. If they fold up to a 1x3 slot and they're anything worth 30,000, they're typically worth taking. Same thing with backpacks. I would say if they're anything over 20,000, they're typically worth folding up, putting in your backpack, and taking. Dog tags are typically not as valuable as you may think they are. Sometimes you might need them for an extract, sometimes you might need them for a hideout upgrade, but aside from that, they're typically not worth taking. Sometimes you can collect them as trophies if you really want to, but they're not worth their weight in gold. They're not valuable, especially some of the lower level rookie ones. Aside from all of that, follow the general rules of looting the most expensive things off that player, and make sure you get any of the other loose items that may be expensive off of that player, such as grenades, expensive painkillers and medkits, and things like that. Always loot player scavs. Player scavs are there for one thing and one thing only, and that is to make money. Always check their pockets, always check their backpacks. I've had extremely good luck checking player scavs. Now, you are only going to find player scavs on Farm and Valley, but still keep a lookout for those guys. Aside from looting players and player scavs, you can also loot loose containers around the map. Pretty much any container has a chance to have valuable items in it, but some of the best moneymaker containers in this game are going to be the ammo boxes and the weapon boxes. Never leave those behind, always check those. They always have a chance to have good attachments, scopes, sights, and expensive ammunitions. The safes and the high value loot spots like the locked rooms, those are always good spots to check, and they have a chance to spawn rare items, but don't get yourself into a gunfight that you can't handle just for some cash. Just know your limits and know what you can and can't do. If you are new to the game and you are just starting out, I would say a good cost per slot to go for is anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000. Obviously, the more expensive than that you can get, the better, but 6,000 to 8,000 is a pretty decent starting point. Real quick, here's another tip for your storage. Now, if you don't want to fucking spend money on this game, just like me, you can absolutely save space in your storage without having to actually pay real world money to expand your storage. Get yourself 4 things: an AKM standard gas tube, an AK quick mod handguard, a 2-inch modlock rail, and a 4.1-inch modlock rail. Put all those things together and it'll fit neatly into a 1x1 slot. On this item, you can put a foregrip, 4 different tactical laser devices, a compact culminator, as well as a long scope. Do that 14 times and put that in a wrap rig, and you can turn the culmination of 112 inventory slots, all of which are attachments that you're probably going to use for firearms in the future, into a combined total of 9 slots. You're welcome. I know that was a lot of information coming at you guys real quick, but I'm going to keep everything timestamped for your guys' viewing pleasure down below, so you're welcome to come back to it anytime you'd like. If you guys have been paying attention, you'll probably have noticed a name pop up in the corner of the screen. The name is Mr. Cashier, and for those of you that watched my snake video, you're probably familiar with this name. Yeah! I can do it! No! Play some sad music, Cashier.
Mr. Cashier, we need a new track. Hit that shit.
Attention, all personnel.
Mr. Cashier was a fucking awesome dude. I don't know him. I didn't get to add him on Steam, and I tried looking him up in the Steam registry, but I couldn't find him anywhere, so he probably changed his name. But Mr. Cashier was hilarious as hell, and he was a fantastic DJ. So in honor of his legacy, I thought I would add Mr. Cashier as a permanent character on my channel. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first addition to the Fisherman Dave channel, our new dedicated DJ, Mr. Cashier. Okay, yes, Mr. Cashier, we get it. Thank you, that is enough.
God forbid a man gets a little appreciation around here. Fuck you 2 days.
Thank you, Mr. Cashier. Anyway, to close out this video, I could talk to you about all the things that I like about this game. I could talk to you about the impressively short matchmaking times. I could talk to you about the absolute slog of idiot-proof quality of life features in this game. I could talk to you about all the other stuff that I enjoy about this game, but I'm gonna spare you that 3-hour rant. Instead, I'm just gonna mention a couple of the things that piss me off about this game, and then I'll move on with my life. Number 1, there is no proximity chat in this game. More Fun Studios, what in the monkey fuck are you doing? Every single multiplayer, free roam, open world game like this has VoIP in their game. If you do not add VoIP into your game, you are putting yourself 10 years behind technologically to all of your competitors. For a studio that has the level of arrogance to call themselves More Fun Studios, you forgot to add one of the most fun features in multiplayer games to this date, which is proximity chat. Add fucking proximity chat. Lastly, this is just a strong pet peeve of mine. This shit pisses me off in every single game that it's in. Invisible walls. There is something that just drives me fucking insane about invisible walls. If you add invisible walls into your game, go fuck yourself. You and everyone in your studio. Go fuck yourself. I remember my very first raid on Northridge. I heard gunshots in this little power station area that was east of the hotel. I went on top of this rock to try and get a peek down on this guy that was in this area. Oh, can't go up here. There's a fucking invisible wall in my way.
Let me up the fucking rock, bro. Why is there so many invisible walls?
On farm, I was sniping somebody. I tried to get an angle on this guy, so I went to this semi-truck and tried to jump on the container on the back. Can't get up there. There's a fucking invisible wall. This fence right here on farm, for some reason you can walk on all the other fences surrounding this area, but not this specific part of the fence. There's a fucking invisible wall on top of it. On Valley, I was on that church on the top of the hill, and I was trying to get on top of this trellis to see if I can find a cool sniping spot. Nope, can't get up there. There's a fucking invisible wall.
Potentially good spot? No way. There's a fucking invisible wall here! Fuck!
On farm, again, behind the motel, there's this road that has this huge opening on the side of the road that looks like it opens up into a nice, beautiful, pretty valley. I walked up to it because I wanted to see what it was like back there. I wanted to at least get a view. Nope. Invisible fucking wall. Stop adding fucking invisible walls everywhere. If you don't want somebody to go somewhere, add a physical barrier. You could have just made this an open cliff and anyone who jumps down it dies. That's more fun. That's more immersive. Don't just add a fucking invisible wall there. Let me explore, man. Now, that being said, in light of the things that this game gets right, those are very minor issues. And Arena Breakout Infinite is still a fantastic fucking game. Look, I am not saying that Escape from Tarkov is a bad game, okay? We've all had good experiences on Tarkov. We all have good memories from Tarkov. And if you enjoy Escape from Tarkov, by all means, play Escape from Tarkov. I am not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't play. But let's be real here. It takes a special type of masochist to continually enjoy Escape from Tarkov. Tarkov is old now. It's just a fact of the matter that there are other games on the market that are doing the genre better. Like, look at Arc Raiders. Look at the numbers that game is pulling right now. But I mean, come on, Arc Raiders, that is the only competitor to Tarkov right now. Like, let's be... Oh, and Escape from Duckov has 300,000 players. Yeah, who the fuck is going to be playing Tarkov 1.0 again? Like, look at the content that they're going to be adding to Tarkov 1.0. A paper target for your hideout. Thanks, Battlestate Games. Thanks. Here's my prediction for Tarkov 1.0, right? A bunch of people are going to go try Tarkov 1.0, probably coming back from games like Arc Raiders and Arena Breakout Infinite. After about a few weeks to a month, they're going to say, where the fuck is the content? What have they done? They didn't address the cheaters. They didn't address the game-breaking bugs. They didn't address the queue times. And then all those people are going to come crawling right back to all the other games that they enjoyed. And I know for a fact that Nikita is going to be bitching, moaning, and complaining about it on Twitter, and not a singular person is going to give a singular fuck. And with that being said, Mr. Cashier, play me the fuck out.